We then at a point where pitchers are not as good today as they were in your era because we are relying more on this insidious metrics that are out there and these sabermetrics and these computer graphics, and we're relying too much on that. Has that destroyed pitching? Because you said it, you're carrying 12 pitchers and guys are gone after 6 pitches, and you've got a manager sitting there who's being told by the general manager, who's being told by somebody else, who's being told by somebody else. Make sure you look at the sheet, because if he gets 9 pitches in and the 10th pitch is this, then you got to pull him. There's no sense anymore. It seems like that has completely destroyed pitching, Jim, to where it's no longer a feel, and maybe it should be more of a feel than worrying about all these damn graphics.
Well, I think there's two things. I think the biggest effect on pitching over the years has been the 100 pitch rule for starters. They initiated probably back in the late 70s, and they did it to protect the kids because the managers were overusing him, pitching him both ends of a
So they
doubleheader
were
in a state
overusing. I mean,
championship.
we can't admit that. They were overusing pitchers and destroying their careers by basically making them rubber armed.
But the problem is when you tell kids they can only throw 100 pitches and they're gone, you teach them to look in the bullpen in the sixth, seventh inning because they're at 100 pitches. The old book on players, we used to sit down before every game and go over the players, the hitters, what they liked, where they liked to hit the ball, what they were going to do in situations. And then you talked about the pitcher. And pitchers like Gaylord Perry, Nolan Ryan, Fergie Jenkins, the idea was get your runs in the first 7 innings because in the eighth and the ninth, they turn the screws down even tighter and you aren't going to beat them late in the game. Now that doesn't happen. This 100 pitch rule, you haven't developed any arm strength to throw 150, 170 pitches. You look at the stats. Nolan Ryan has thrown 230 pitches in a 13-inning game, struck out 19, and pitched 4 days later a complete game. That all has to do with arm strength. And that arm strength comes from throwing and throwing and throwing. We used to, when we were young, go out and play baseball all day. Heavens knows how many pitches you would throw, but you were building arm strength. That arm strength isn't here now, and all because of that 100 pitch rule. The problem with carrying 12, 13 pitchers is you've eliminated 2 or 3 guys on the bench. There's no pinch runners, there's no pinch hitters. You carry an extra infielder, you carry an extra catcher, and you carry an extra utility guy. So there are your 12 people if you've got 13 pitchers. And trying to designate a pitcher for the 7th inning and a pitcher for the 8th inning and a pitcher for the 9th inning. In 79, I agreed to be Sparky Lyle's setup man. They traded for me in October, Sparky in December. Pat Corrales came to me at the winter meetings in January and says, Emu, we've got a problem. He says, you and Sparky are both short men, have done it. You're not going to be able to do it. And I said to Pat, I says, we don't have a problem. I consider Sparky one of the best relievers in the game. When you traded for him, I knew I wasn't going to be the short man. I said, I want to win. I've spent 11 years in the Cleveland organization. I've played on 2 teams that finished over 500. I want to win. I will be more than happy to be the setup man for Sparky. First game of the season, I came in the 5th inning with 2 outs, pitched 4 in the 3rd innings and picked up the win. And that was a thing. I have averaged about 2 innings per appearance in my 500 plus major league appearances. And it's just back then, if you were getting people out, they weren't going to yank you. I mean, even though you had one of the best short relievers there, you're getting people out. You can forget it. You're going to be in there until you start getting your ass kicked.